The road to hell really is paved with good intentions, isn't it? People think that if they just mean well, if they have the best of intentions, then everything will be all right. That will help somehow. It will be appreciated and it will smooth the way towards resolution of a conflict, for example. And I'm sorry, I'm so sorry to disappoint you, but that's not how reality works. In this particular case, I'm talking about people who wish that we could all just live together in harmony and that everything would be so lovely. I wish that too. I sincerely do. But it isn't going to happen because there are people out there who are intent of creating inequalities and maintaining inequalities, and who will not give up their privileged position without a fight. And what are you going to do in that case? Are you just going to demur and just going to say, okay, fair enough, you don't want to listen to me talking to you softly? Because I'm certainly not going to do that. We are fighting things that are too important to just let lie for the sake of a bit of peace and quiet. I am talking about the intolerance, religious intolerance, religious bigotry and hatred. I'm talking about homophobia, racism, all those types of things are things that need to be removed. And if it won't be removed in cooperation with those who are still perpetuating these things, then it will have to be removed forcibly even. There can be no compromise in things like this. There can be no compromise. Racism has to end. Bigotry, religious bigotry, has to stop. Homophobia has to stop. The treating of atheists as second-class citizens has to stop. Islamophobia has to stop. And what do you do if somebody doesn't listen to you saying that in the nicest possible way? I am certainly not going to sit here silently and say, well, I tried my best. No, this is more than just a debate. This is not a polite debate. This is a war. On the one hand, we've got a group of people who are waging a war against the rest of humanity. And the very least that we can do in return is not lower ourselves to their level. Not lower ourselves to fighting directly against other people by hurting them physically, by removing their rights, by limiting their freedoms, or anything like that. Because that is a perfect example of the intolerance itself that we're fighting. But we must be intolerant of the intolerance. We must be intolerant of the hatred. And we must fight those things tooth and nail. We must wage a war against ideologies. And that is something in which we cannot take the softly approach. Bigotry, racism, homophobia, and so on are things that need to be destroyed. They are ideologies, memeplexes, ideas that need to be destroyed. And destruction is a violent thing. Thankfully, this is destruction of ideas, which is done by debunking, by vigorous debate, by pointing out how ridiculous certain ideas are, how wrong they are and pointing out how things can be done better. But those things are not done in a friendly manner. This is a war, and it has to be fought as such. And I will not for a second giving in to those who demand, for the sake of political correctness or a bit of peace, that I conduct myself politely in this sort of a thing. It's too important for that. I am going to conduct myself any way I see fit in order to fight this evil. The evil of religious intolerance, the evil of racism, the evil of homophobia, you name it, the evil of restriction of freedom of expression. I'm fighting it. And if I have to, I will fight it in a dirty war. This is a bare knuckle fight as far as I'm concerned. The gloves are coming off, and I'm not going to pull my punches. And if anybody has any trouble with that, if anybody thinks it's a bit too hot in this kitchen, get out.